And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Transformative Healing. I'm your host, Gina, and I am a certified neurotransformative practitioner. And welcome to our channel. So good to have you. Good evening, Sly, Scott, Michael. Thank you all for joining in. I missed you all last week, even though I did see you on a couple other podcasts and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I missed being here last week. It always feels like when I miss a week, it always feels like I haven't seen you guys in eternity. So it's kind of weird in a way and stuff like that. But I do enjoy doing these and things like that too. So that's probably why. Um, so how's since I seen you last week, the week before, 2 weeks ago? How's everyone doing? Have you been able to get out and do anything for yourself? We always talk about self-care and just how important it is on here. And so just kind of wondering, were you able to get out and do anything over the last week and a half? Did you do something out of the ordinary for yourself? Did you kind of not really splurge? And I'm not talking about fishing stuff either. So the first person to mention anything about fishing, I'm going to have to give you a noogie because, yeah, no. Buying fishing stuff is not self-care. Now, fishing is self-care in a sense, but we're not talking about buying things because some of you, oof, that's a whole nother topic on impulse. We'll have to get to that one of these days. Good. So Michael made it out, made it out on the water. Did you catch anything, Michael? Yeah, I know, Sly. Pretty soon the weather will warm up and you'll be able to get out there and go fishing and things like that too, and enjoy some time on the water as well, because I know that's a portion of your self-care as well. So things like that as well. So which I love. And why I bring up self-care so much is because it's, so many of us, we always put everybody first. And so it's learning to put yourself first. Really putting yourself first and going forward and saying, okay, I always put everybody else first, but now it's time to put me first. So it's crazy. Oh, Scott, I'm so sorry. How's your mom doing now? Is she better? I mean, I hope she's better, and things like that. Is she on the mend? And yeah, that allergic, you don't know what happened to cause you allergic reaction. Go back and, kind of pinpoint what you ate, what you were around. Is it poison ivy? A lot of people don't realize, but poison ivy actually stays on our clothes, and for a very long time, the oil stays on our shoes, our shoelaces, all that stuff, and you just don't realize it. On shovel handles, it could be anywhere. The oil could be anywhere, and then you don't realize it, and then before you know it, you're covered. I remember one year when we first bought our house, the backyard was a mess. And, I don't know if it was Sly's bright idea or if it was my somebody else, like my ex. I don't even want to call him my stepdad. I don't even know. But anyway, he's an ex-family member, by the way. Or it was one of them. And so we had a bunch of weeds back there. And so we didn't even pay attention. There was a whole lot of poison ivy. And so we started burning it, and oh my goodness, I had poison ivy in crevices I didn't know it could go, because it was just, when it gets in the air, the oil can just go everywhere. So even if my neighbor would have got, the oil would have been, it would have been, the neighbors probably could have got it too, but it was terrible. We had it everywhere. It was the worst case of poison ivy ever. And so when we went to the doctor, we had to go to the doctor and get cortisone shots. And when we went, that was one of the things that they told us: you can't burn it because the oil stays in the smoke. And then when it hits you, wherever the smoke goes, you will be covered. And nonetheless, we were covered in every crevice, every area from head to toe, and it was a nightmare. So yeah, no. Never again. Now we have another pile back there that, that's got poison ivy and stuff in it that eventually will get taken care of, and things like that. But I'm like, I am not burning it. I'm not touching it because I'm highly allergic. So hopefully, Scott, you can figure out exactly what is going on with you. and see exactly what's going on. If you have to, don't be afraid to see about getting a cortisone shot or something just to kind of help you, because it's not good to be miserable. And those cortisone shots really do help you and stuff like that too. So, yeah, so I'm glad to see that she's home recovering, and things like that. And, it stinks that she had to have a stent in her heart, but I'm glad that she's still here nonetheless, and that she is home recovering. So, which is good. Um, well, it's interesting, because you said either the loofah or the body wash. And this is something, and you notice a lot of times you see me and my hair is up, and people always think I'm funny, but I really think I'm allergic to my hair. Um, because if I have my hair down, it itches me right here, right where it sits. It itches me. And then I break out in a rash because it itches me. So a lot of times I love wearing my hair down, but my face just doesn't like it. So that's why I always have my hair back, because it drives me bananas anyway. Or I have it down, then I want it behind my ears, and then I want it back up front, and I'm fidgeting with it. So if it's up, I don't, but so I understand. I think I am allergic to my hair. It's kind of weird, but I think I am in that sense. So it could be. I mean, maybe something in the loofah. It just depends. You may have, if you're using um, I don't know, the loofah sponge is, if it's coarse, you could have really, um, really irritated your skin. Or if the body wash, I'd go back and figure out what is in the body wash. Something, obviously, there's something in there that does not sit well with you. Another thing you can do is, if you have oatmeal, make an oatmeal paste and put some oatmeal on where all of your itchinesses and things like that too, or your rashes, and that's something, that really helps as well. So those are some holistic ways that you can kind of help yourself, to help with a lot of the itching and the inflammation and stuff that comes along with it and stuff like that too. So yeah. So Michael, congratulations on I did not want to miss celebrating with you. That's huge. Looks like 9 bass on Saturday, 4 on Sunday with a 5-pounder. That's awesome. So yeah, we have not been able to get out and fish in our area yet. Easter was really nice. It was really nice yesterday. It was all right, but it's just so windy. Even on the nice days, the wind is just, oh, it's bad. I mean, the wind will be enough to knock you over. So it's always blowing things around here. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's crazy. So, and then what happens is I get motion sickness anyway. And so if I'm out there and I'm trying to fish, well, my eyes just want to go to the water, and then the water's just moving, it's moving like this, and then I'm the motion sickness. And so it's like, yep, nope, can't do that either. So, it's crazy. So, Scott, you're so funny. It's all right. He's funny. So you're fine. That's funny though. So, yeah. So I'm really hoping, that all of you, in the coming days, I think it's just going to switch from, I think we're just going to go. I mean, we've had some nice days, but that wind, but I have a feeling it's going to go from like, all of this kind of chilliness, because it still gets chilly. And all of a sudden we're going to go from 30 or 40 and it's going to be 90. We're going to shoot right to summer. So you're going to turn your heat off, and then you're going to turn your air on. And I know that's how it's been the last couple of years, but I'm really hoping, in the next couple of weeks or so, it'll transition. So, all of you can go fish and do your, I know that's what you guys absolutely love. And so, good for your mental health and things like that as well. So, and things like that too. So how was everybody's Easter? If you do celebrate Easter, or if not, that's okay too. What did you have a good time? And things like that too. So yeah, the wind is just unbelievable. It was the same thing here. It was nice and sunny. I took my sweatshirt off. I walked outside to go in the house for a minute. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, it's freezing out here. I probably should have put my sweatshirt on, but it's kind of cold, and it's warm in here. I was going to say it's cold in here. It's actually warm in here. Because obviously I still have the heat on, things like that too. So, but yesterday, I was just getting ready to say that slide, but yesterday we spent 4 hours at church. Normally, church is not that long. We spent 4 hours. Our daughter got rebaptized. The Holy Spirit spoke to her, and and so she's older now. She understands more of baptism and what it means, and so she wanted to get rebaptized. And so there was, I believe, 45 or 46 baptisms. And then there was 15 baby dedications. And so it took a while. The church was definitely packed. It was overflowing. They had to, have seats in another building because there were so many people there. So, as you all know, praise God for that. But so nonetheless, then we came home. We ended up doing a Easter egg hunt with the kids, had dinner. And so it was a nice, it was really nice. It was just us, but I do miss the big family gatherings, but nonetheless, I kind of enjoy these small intimate moments with my family, my husband and my kids and things like that too. And, and stuff, it's nice. And so, yeah. So poor Scott said, I got the Easter bunny rash, or sorry, I got the Easter rash. The bunny didn't like me, but was good. And Sly said that's because you were a bad bunny boy. Oh, that's funny. So yeah. So I'm glad everybody had a good day yesterday and things like that. And again, Michael, he had a good day. He went out and caught some fish and things like that too. So all around, it seems like everybody had a good day yesterday, and things like that too. So. So on tonight's episode, what I'd like to talk about, excuse me, is, your nervous system is not your enemy. And so we've spoke about some things to do with our nervous system previously, but I want to go a little bit more in depth about things to do with our nervous system. And so what I want to do is I want to start with a short relaxation technique. And so, so many of us, we get triggered. We're hot-headed. Some of us, we end up getting triggered to the point that we impulse buy. Some of us get triggered and it changes our mood. And things like that. And that all happens up in our brain. It all happens in the prefrontal cortex, which is here. The anterior cingulate cortex is up here too. It's with the prefrontal cortex. We'll be talking about the amygdala, where your fight or flight responses are. The vagal nerve. So there's different things we'll be talking about tonight, because I think that the nervous system, again, it goes back to feeling safe. And we need it. And if we don't feel safe, our nervous system is never going to regulate. You're never going to have that safety. And so safety comes when there's safety in relationships, safety in friendship, safety in family, and things like that. And that is called the connection, no, it's not. It's oh my goodness, like it just went out the window. Something bridge, I can't think of what the middle word is, but it's something bridge anyway. And I want to say interconnecting, but I know that's not what it is. It's been too long since I've had that. But anyway, it's where it's kind of you mimicking it's not really you mimicking, but when you're around somebody safe, your nervous system will mimic. Yes, will mimic what their nervous system is, because you feel safe. It's the same thing when you become nervous and your partner is relaxed, or somebody that you're relaxed around and you feel safe around. Sometimes what they do is they tell you to watch how they breathe and try to breathe along with them if they are breathing in a relaxed state. Now, if somebody's huffing and puffing, obviously you don't want to do that, because then you're going to cause yourself to spiral a little bit more. And so that's not the object here. That's not what we want you to do. And so again, tonight I'd like to talk about your nervous system is not the enemy. And it's truly not. So our nervous system is basically the body's internal security system. It's constantly scanning our environment, asking simple but powerful questions. Am I safe? Am I in danger? And so Am I safe or am I in danger? And so that's what it scans. And so it goes back into the amygdala, which is responsible for the fight or flight. The limbic system is responsible for nervous system regulation and emotions. So do you see how, and then the prefrontal cortex, executive functioning. So you see how all of those play a part in everything that we're talking about, all of it in here. And so we throw in the subconscious. The subconscious is the area of the brain where everything is stored. So that's where the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It's because the subconscious remembers what our minds do not. So the subconscious does. But then, our body, it starts reflecting in our body, which is part of the physiological, the systems within our body. And so, that's why I always talk about the art, breath work, NLP, whatever you would like, because in order to fully heal, you have to have what we call a side door modality that will help dissipate, excrete all of that build up trauma, those trapped emotions in the physiological, which is our body, which is our cells. And so remember that when you're on your healing journey. And so it makes decisions without asking your permission. The unconscious process is called neuroception, a term from a scientist named Dr. Stephen Porges. And so when your nervous system is scanning, when your brain is scanning, am I safe? Am I in danger? All of a sudden, what ends up happening is the unconscious makes a decision, the neuroception, and what it does is that's where the fight or flight, fawn, and freeze comes in. Am I fleeing? Am I fighting? Which is like fleeing, fighting, fleeing. Or am I staying? Am I, the fawning? Am I fleeing? Freezing. And so that's what it boils down to. And so your nervous system reacts. And like, again, I just said them, the two we already know, fight or flight. That's when you panic and you're ready to react. That's when you get that boost of adrenaline. You're like, okay, come at me. Or you're ready to like, hello, I'm ready to flee. I'm running as fast as I can. Bye now. Or rest and digest when you're calm and connected. And so, so do you see the difference? And now there's a third one, and it's called freeze or the shutdown. Has anybody ever had freeze before? And so that's when your body says, that's too much. I'm going to numb out to protect us. So has anybody ever been in a state of freeze before? Anyone? So I have. And it's not a fun place to be. When you are in that freeze state, you literally cannot move. It's like being glued to the ground. And it is the worst. I can still remember it happened to me one time. And I can still remember exactly what was going on. Thinking back, I may not have remembered what we had for dinner yesterday, but I do. But I might not remember what we had for dinner yesterday, but I can remember. I was in 5th grade when it happened. I can remember. I don't remember what street I was on, but I know the street I was on. If I went back into the town, I would know what the street was. But I remember somebody drove by. They said some sexual words to a friend of mine and I, and I froze. I just froze on the sidewalk. I couldn't move. And that was just, it was the crappiest thing, because I'm thinking, thinking back, oh my goodness, they could have came and picked me up. But then I'm like, well, maybe I would have been like lead, like heavy weight, and they wouldn't have been able to lift me. But then I'm like, oh my goodness, how many people go through that all the time, where they shut down and they numb and they just maybe can't move. And so for me, it was a scary thing that I never want to ever experience again, because it was one of those moments that I wanted to just run and flee and hide, and I couldn't. I literally could not move. I got to move my chair a little bit, sorry. And so I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything and stuff there. So thank you, Scott. It's a very good subject. And it is. I mean, it's, how many of us, and I shouldn't say how many of us, because we all have nervous systems that are they become dysregulated. And it's learning how to identify, how to have that mind and body connection to identify what's going on and what to do when they do become dysregulated. Instead of maybe it changes your mood. Okay, you need to catch when it changes your mood. Maybe it changes your perception. Well, then you need to figure out how to change your perception on things and stuff like that. So well, and it is, I mean, so what ends up happening is so Scott says, not sure what to do is what I call it. And that's exactly right. I mean, it's one of those things, and you don't know what to do. And a lot of times why we don't know what to do is because our prefrontal cortex, whereas where our executive functioning, where all of our where our logical thinking, it shuts off. So all of the tools and resources that we have learned kind of go out the window. And so we have to try to knock ourselves out of that as quick as we can. I don't like to use the word knock. That wasn't a very trauma-informed term, but I apologize. We need to try to escape what's going on and come back to reality, and in a healthy way. So that way there we can kind of help us or help yourself. And so, having something maybe around that you can look at that will help you come out of whatever's going on. And it's a scary thing. And so Sly says, I have ran a few times, but more times I have fought. And so, yeah, and that goes along with the fight or flight. And that's when you feel panicked or you're ready to act. And so, if you're being chased, chances are, you're gonna get that bolt of energy, and you're gonna be like, "Oop, I'm out of here," and you're gonna run. Absolutely. And you're gonna run, and you're just gonna be like, "See you later." And there are times that that you have fight or flight, and your adrenaline will kick in, and then you'll just want to fight. So, it goes hand in hand and stuff like that too. So, so none of these are bad. Fight, flight, fawn, freeze, rest or digest. None of them are bad, but in fact, they're survival. They're survival tools for each and every one of us. And so the more we understand them, the more we can give ourselves compassion and understand why it's happening. And what areas maybe that we need to look at in our life. And it could be as simple as you are watching something and all of a sudden you get triggered. And you're watching something, and it's a time to reflect. So this is what I tell my clients as well. When you get triggered, try to go back and remember what you were doing 5 or 10 minutes before you were triggered. And hopefully that will identify exactly what was going on. Not always, but it can help you open up that window of opportunity as far as what was going on. What were you watching? What were you listening to? Things like that, and kind of see exactly where you are. And then when you find it, you're able to work on it and reverse those effects and say, okay, I know when this happens to me, what to do. So for me, and I've shared this, I'm very transparent in here because I want other people to learn from my story. And so I kind of want to be the voice for the voiceless. And so I'm very transparent. I share a lot. And it's not always about me, but why I share is because there's so many people that can relate. And some people feel like they are alone. And so I was that person for the longest time. And so what I started identifying, it took me a long time, but when I got triggered, what I would find is that I started getting angry. Well, we all know what anger feels like. You usually get a flush. Okay, so what happens first? Does your heart rate increase? Do your palms start sweating? Does your face get flushed? How can you identify that you're getting angry in the moment? And so when I was able to identify when I was getting angry in the moment, I knew instantly to try to switch to something positive in that moment, or to say, you know what, not today. I'm not doing this today. And it works for me. There are times that I will be talking and I get heated, and then I'm like, wait a minute, no, like my tone is off. I can hear it now. And there are times that I just get heated and I don't explode like I used to. But there are times my mouth does get the best of me from time to time. And so it's a matter of catching it and looking at ways that you can de-escalate yourself from getting full-fledged angry, and then kind of going off, and then coming back and saying, oh, what happened? Because that just ends up creating more cortisol, adrenaline releasing, and then guess what happens? That goes back into your body, and then it starts wreaking havoc on your systems, because now it's redepositing into all of your joints and muscles and all that stuff. And then a lot of times that's why people have fibromyalgia, lupus, nerve damage, and things like that too, because, and joints and muscle aches and things like that too, because it's a lot of it goes back to the things that we have gone through throughout our life and stuff like that too. So, and things. And so, a gentle dive into the polyvagal theory. So if you don't know the polyvagal, the nerve, it runs from like the base of your neck all the way down. And so what I love about the neurographica is the neurographica actually activates the vagal nerve. And so the vagal nerve is actually responsible for kind of like your relaxation and stuff like that too. Give me a second here. And so I can give you a better definition, so I know. Okay, so it explores the role of the vagus nerve and the autonomic nervous system in regulating emotions, social connections, and stress responses. If I can get that out. And so there's polyvagal exercises. If you decide to do them with caution. But what I love is that I can do the art, and it actually activates the polyvagal, and it actually activates that nerve. And so my clients start to feel a lot more calm, regulates their emotions and things like that, which I absolutely love. I've tried polyvagal before, and I just did not care too well for it. But, nonetheless, you're more than welcome to try it. But I would proceed with caution, while you're doing and stuff like that, because there's sometimes they want you to shift your body this way and your head that way. And so you're pushing your head this way while you're pushing your body like this way. And it's weird. And so it's really, really weird. So again, there's a lot of benefits to it, but just make sure that you're using caution as you are doing those types of exercises and things like that too. So again, you don't want to over push it, because, you yourself know what pain you could take. But if you're pressing against your head this way and you're trying to, I can't even do it, but you're trying to move your head over some and your body the other way, it's like, so it's weird. I mean, there's other exercises, but that's the one I tried. And I was like, yeah, I can't. This is weird to me. It really is weird. But there, nonetheless, there's a lot of good benefits. But proceed with caution when you do it, and make sure that you're not overdoing it and things like that too. And so the polyvagal, it gives us a map of the nervous system in a beautifully human way. Here's a simplified version with the three main states. So the ventral vagal is the safe and social. This is your calm, connected state. You will feel present. You'll feel curious, open-hearted. It's like sitting by a fire with somebody you trust. And so how many of us absolutely love sitting by a fire? Oh, I was thinking about it. I was like, I didn't even know. I've been in Ohio for 30-something years. I've been in this town that we live in for a number of years. And I never realized that there is a burn. What is that? Slide? A burn ban in our region during like the months of like, I don't know, April, May, February, April, May. March, April, May. Sorry, I skipped March when I said February, April, May. March, April, May, maybe like 3 months. But I had no idea because I would have had a fire already, even though like this, but I would have been out there having a fire. I love cooking on an open fire and things like that too. So, but how many of us just love sitting by a fire? I think, again, it's being in nature. And I just love it. And so, yeah, and Scott, you're not the only one. Scott said, my words are my main weapon. And absolutely. And so when you use your words as a main weapon, I'm assuming that you're using them when you're triggered. And so chances are you're probably going to say things. Oh, is it April through October? Oh, you're not supposed to burn April through October, or you can burn April through October. Are you using your words when you're heated? And are you mindful of what you're saying? Not just you. I'm just looking at what your response was, and I always appreciate your transparency. But for somebody else that's listening and they're thinking, yeah, when I get irritated or triggered or whatever, my mouth just goes and goes and goes and goes. But what is the effect of that? Because when you say something, you can't take back what you say. You cannot take back what you say. And so I have had to, because I'm one of those ones that my mouth sometimes gets the best of me too. And I'm learning, but I'm learning that words hurt. And then you can say you're sorry, but those words are still there. Those words have literally punctured my heart. And let me give you an example of something. When I was in Girl Scouts with my daughter, what I want you to do is, this is an exercise that, we can all do together, but something that I want to show you. And so I actually had the girls in Girl Scouts, I had them draw a huge heart, not like this, but it was actually huge. Let me make it bigger if I can. Yep, it's not going to be the greatest. Okay, so I had them draw a heart. I told them, you know what, you color that heart however you want. You can color the whole entire page if you want. And I said to them, okay, now I want you to crumble up your page. And they gave me this look like, Miss Gina, are you kidding me? Like, after all that work that I did? And I said, yeah. So I said, crumble up that page. They crumbled it all up. This is a good analogy. This is a good visual. So they crinkled it all up and they took it. I said, okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to try to straighten it out the most you can. And so you can't see me, but I have it on my desk and I am trying to straighten it out the best that I can. Okay. So I should have actually showed you the picture on the front and then you could have seen, but okay. Let's see it. You can't really see it. Okay. I'm trying to do it so you can actually see. Okay. So do you see all the marks in the paper? So what all those marks represent is all the hurtful things that you've said to somebody. And this is actually their heart or your heart and all the times that somebody else said something to you. It doesn't matter how many times that I try to put this paper to smooth it. Doesn't matter how many times I try to smooth the paper. Guess what? What you said to somebody is still there. It's still there. And so this is a good visual that when we say things, because I've said things too, and there's times that I still do. And then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have put my foot in my mouth. But let this be a visual that no matter how many times we say something or how many times we say we're sorry, whatever we say still leaves a mark on somebody's heart. And so let that be a visual for you, in that. And so it's looking at, yeah, well, I'm still going to burn April to October. They're nuts. I'm still going to burn. And so, well, yeah, I mean, I know people make us angry and then we fight back with words. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is when you're triggered and you say something, chances are you're going to say something that you didn't really mean. And then apologizing, you've already inflicted pain or hurt onto somebody else. So that's exactly what that paper was representing. The hurt doesn't matter how many times you say you're sorry. The sorry is me trying to get all of those words that you have said off, but I can never get rid of them. The paper will never look like this again. It'll never look like this again. It's impossible. So I'm just saying, be mindful when you speak, because that's huge. But why I'm bringing that up is because of this. Because when we say things again and we're triggered, our prefrontal cortex shuts off, where again, where our logical thinking, executive functioning, all of that stuff is. And so there is a reason we do what we do. And so it took me a very long time from digging and research and trying to figure it out, that when we are triggered, we don't know what we're doing. So it's catching that anger before you start spewing out the mouth. What does anger, or what, I'm assuming it's anger, what does anger feel like for you? And you need to train your body when you feel it. So when I become angry, the first thing that I notice about me is my heart rate. Then my face gets flushed, or my heart rate face. And then I start feeling, I get like a nervous, anxious feeling, like I am like the adrenaline, like I am really going to rip your head off type of feeling. Then I know either walk away, or it's done, and things like that too. So, just to let you know. And again, I'm not picking on anybody. Again, I'm just trying to help. So, sympathetic. So your sympathetic is your fight or flight. When your body senses danger, it mobilizes. You might feel anxious, restless, irritable, or overwhelmed. And this isn't wrong. It's your body trying to do something to help you survive. And so your body, again, senses something. And so now it's going into survival mode. How can I help you prepare for what's going on? How can I help you flee? How can I help you fight? For instance, you're not just going to let a dog continue to bite you, or somebody continue to hurt you. You're going to probably fight back. If somebody's chasing you, you're probably going to flee. So you're going to run and things like that. Your dorsal vagal, this is your freeze or your shutdown. When things feel too much, your system might collapse inward. You feel disconnected, numb, and even hopeless. Again, it's your body trying to protect you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your body is sensing danger, or it's not safe. And so this is what ends up happening. And so you don't get to choose these states. They happen automatically. And they're not personal failures. They're ancient survival responses. So this has been going on for generations after generations. And so what's happening is your body is trying to help you. And so many of us have been taught to fighter responses. Don't be sensitive. Why are you shutting down? Just calm down. And so when we do that, we're not gaining the insight as to why that's happening. When somebody says, don't be sensitive, it's not that you're being sensitive. Now, all of a sudden, there's something roaring up in your nervous system. Why are you shutting down? Well, because if I don't shut down, then, you're made me uncomfortable. I don't feel safe now. And so you may say things that you don't mean. And now you're like, oh, this isn't good either. And so, you may just shut down. Somebody said something. Now you're in that numbing stage, or just calm down. It's not easy when somebody says just calm down. It's not easy to calm down when you are in an escalated moment of being triggered and things like that, and where your nervous system is so dysregulated, that you're trying to calm down. And for somebody to say just calm down, that's just like that just doesn't work, and things like that. But it's learning to control. Again, using the tools and resources, and learning to control what's happening up here. And sometimes there's nothing up here. You just do it because it's what happens is your subconscious is used to that. You're used to hearing that. And so we're trying to build awareness, tools, and resources around getting your prefrontal cortex back online, staying online, giving you the tools and resources that you need to develop more tools and resources to identify what exactly is, to catch the dysregulation before you become dysregulated. So, all right. But what if I said instead, wow, this is you talking now. Wow, my body must think I'm in danger. What does it need right now to feel safe again? So can you imagine, even in the first part of it, even if you're saying those things, don't be so sensitive. Hey, why are you shutting down? Just calm down. Whether you're saying that or somebody else is saying that to you. But in this flip side, When you're talking to your body, this is the place that we're trying to get you to be. And it's saying, okay, my body must think I'm in danger. What can I do right now to feel safe again? What can you do to feel safe again? And so that's why it's always good to probably have something around that you can feel safe, that can redirect your attention onto something else, and things like that. And that's why it's always good crossword puzzles, doing the neurographic art. If you can walk outside for a moment, go splash some cold water on your face, those types of things. But it's going to have to be a matter of you retraining your brain in those triggered moments. That's exactly what it is. It's retraining your brain, and it's having the mind and body connection. And so it's realizing that your nervous system isn't broken, it's beautifully adaptive. And so what it's doing is learning how to protect you based on what you've been through. And so, going through your childhood, and you've gone through things. So now you're emotionally dysregulated. Maybe your parents, when you would have cried, they would have not been that nurturing, caring parent. And they would have told you, oh, stop crying. Don't be a wimp. Get back up. Kids are supposed to be seen, not heard. If you don't do that, if you don't stop doing that, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to smack you harder and make you cry more. And, those types of instances and things that I'm sure a lot of us have been through. And so what happens is now as an adult, you get to gently reteach it in a way that it feels safe. How does it feel safe to you? And so realizing that, I think at this moment, one of the things that really helped me look at how my parents raised me was looking at how their parents raised them, and how those parents probably raised my grandparents. So my great grandparents, how they probably raised my grandparents, and so forth. And what I realized is back in the day, nobody really had, they had a lack of emotions. And so not everybody came from a nurturing family where emotions were regulated, nervous systems were regulated. I mean, look at history. Look at all the intergenerational stuff that's passed down from us. And so there's so many things that were passed down. And so I don't know a whole lot of history about my family. My mom and I, we went on Ancestry, and they're my mom's family. They were very famous in Virginia. And so we found a lot of stuff. There's actually a book about my mom's side of the family in Virginia and stuff like that. And so looking back at some of the things, even speaking to my cousins on that side of the family history was very hush hush, very hush hush. And so I don't know the things that they endured. And things like that. All I know is now that there's a lot of intergenerational things that pass down to us. And so, we are the ones that are breaking the patterns. We are the intergenerational trauma breakers. That's exactly what we're doing. We are here to actually break every single trauma that was passed down from generation to generation. And it stops with us. It stops with me. It stops with all of us. And so those are the things that we have to look at. It's looking at reteaching yourself in a way that it feels safe. That's exactly what we need to do. And Scott, yes, we were, we were told to carry on no matter what. Gen X, no helmets or knee pads, and we drank from hoses. And absolutely we did. We didn't have any of that stuff. And look at us now, like we're thriving and surviving. We may not, there may be some things that we're dealing with, but I mean, look at all the things that we did. That we had, I think that was the generation we had. There was so much fun in that generation. And, the things that these kids now, they're like, oh yeah, we can't do this, this, and this, and da, 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 you know what I mean? And these kids will never get to experience any of that, the way that the generations and stuff are. Back in the old days, they didn't have time for emotions, had too much stuff to get done to live life. Absolutely, they did. I mean, look at women. You hear of women giving birth in fields, getting cleaned up, giving the baby to whoever, or just putting the baby in something, and boom, back in the field they go. They clean up and back in the field they go. And so, the mother didn't even have time with her newborn. The mother didn't even have time to even know what was going on. So can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Like, it's like, oh my goodness. And one of the things that I asked, that I was trying to, I agree. It really is. one of the things I asked myself one day, I was sitting here and I was kind of thinking out, next year I get to share my entire testimony from a Christian standpoint. And so one of the things, I was kind of looking at as God prepares me and things like that. And so I've shared that my testimony will be a different testimony. My testimony will be a testimony of resilience, of showing where I was. And this testimony can be shared in two different ways. It doesn't have to be shared in a Christian way, but for this instance that I am. So what it's showing is it's showing that where I was. I've told you before, and kind of a timeline in a way, or I can't think of the other word that I want to do. But anyway, showing, okay, these are the things that happened to me, but these are the things that I was saved from. And so showing you, okay, and I've shared this before, showing you, I've talked about it before, but I want to be able to share it in a way that obviously it helps other people and things like that too, because people don't see the dark side of the things that we've gone through. They see Gina today, but they didn't see Gina 20 years ago when I struggled, or beyond, before that. They never seen anything. They just see me today. And so they look at me and they say, oh, well, you don't know what it's like to be, to do this, this, and this. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah, actually I do. And they're like, you do? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of hard work, It was a lot of crap I had to go through in order to get where I am today. A lot of darkness I had to go through, a lot of rocks I had to carry to get where I am today. It was not easy and it was not smooth sailing. But that's for all of us. We had to go through so much stuff. And when people say, oh, well, it made you stronger. No, it didn't. It shouldn't have had to make us stronger. We had to learn to be resilient, and we had to learn to rise up. And trauma changes you. But it's looking at your trauma and saying, okay, how can I look at my trauma and allow it to change me in a way that's more positive and better than I was before? That's what it does. But trauma does not make you stronger. It does, but not in the sense of, oh, well, I went through this, I'm stronger now. No, not in that sense. Yes, it makes you stronger, but not in the sense of, oh, well, this. Trauma shouldn't make you stronger. What makes you stronger is all the stuff that you had to go through to get to where you are today. Then you can say, now I'm stronger than I ever was. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And so learning to reteach yourself. And so how to work with your nervous system and how to work with it. So let's talk tools. There are ways to co-regulate or self-regulate, meaning to help your nervous system shift forward safely, towards safely, forward. I don't like that word either. To help your nervous system shift toward safety. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry. And so it's breathing slowly, especially with the longer exhale. And so what you're going to want to do is there's a 5-finger breathing. That's another good tool. And so the 5-finger breathing is, you want to make sure that you're breathing in and out of your nose slowly, because you want to activate the parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest. If you're breathing through your mouth and you're triggered, what's going to happen is that you are going to stay activated, because when you're breathing in and out of your mouth, you're in your sympathetic, which is your fight or flight. So when you're trying to calm down, you want to try to breathe in and out of your nose. And so the 5-finger breathing is when you are up, when you're going up, you're going to want to breathe in your nose. And so you don't want to go fast. You just want to go, at a pretty steady temperature, at a pretty steady flow. So inhale and then exhale, and then inhale and then exhale. And so as you exhale, what you want to do is you want to try to release whatever it is that is stored up energy, not serving you any purpose. Anything that you have to let go, those are the things that you want to release every single time on the exhale. So And so by the time you get to the fifth time, you should be pretty relaxed, and probably entering that calm state and things like that. Move your body gently, a walk, stretch, or shake. And so there are times that if you shake, you can instantly shift yourself. If you clap your hands, if you're tapping, anything like that, it helps to shift you as well. Be around safe people. We regulate through connection. And I think it's inner something. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I can't remember that word. Interconnective, inner bridge, it's inner something, and that's going to drive me up a wall. But anyway, when you're around safe people, your body feels safe. You can relax. You're not in this tense state. And so I think I shared this with you before. I could feel myself when my shoulders, when I'd be sitting here and all of a sudden my shoulders would do this. And I was like, for years I would do it. And I know that I did. I just didn't know. But it's uncomfortable now. But I could feel my shoulders rising up. I would be sitting in sessions, or I'd be sitting here doing things, and all of a sudden my shoulders would rise up, and I was like, okay, this is not good. I'm tense. I'm probably triggered, and this is really not a good thing. And so when I started doing the progressive muscle relaxation, and really what helped me was that, but then really being mindful of, I could feel my shoulders going up, and I would just try to release them. And then what I would do is I would kind of bring my shoulders back in the back, let my shoulder blades touch, and kind of just sit like that for a few minutes just to release, and do this with my shoulders and stuff like that. My shoulders get tight, but I no longer have my shoulders up to my ears anymore. And so it took me a long time to do that. And so when you're around people that are safe, you will regulate. You'll be able to feel that safety. You'll be able to open up. You'll be able to be you. You know what I mean? And things like that. Singing, humming, or talking in a soothing tone. This is always good too, because what happens is that when you're singing and you're humming, it goes into your ears, into the mastoid, and then it goes into your brain. And so it's the audible. You're able to hear through all of those bones, and they're all connected. And so it goes up in the brain. It changes the chemistry in your brain. And so you start calming down and things like that as well. Another thing that you can do is use your senses, touch a soft fabric, light a candle, feel your feet on the ground. And so, being able to be grounded, being able to say, okay, it's redirecting what's going on, redirecting what's going on in your mind at that moment, and things like that too. And so what you want to do is, you don't want to force yourself into calm, because if you're forcing yourself into calm, what ends up happening is that your body's not going to feel safe. You're forcing yourself there, and that's just not a good place to be. And so you need to offer your body, safety. So you need to say to your body something along the lines, you're safe now, we're okay. Those types of things, to let your body know, hey, I am okay. And things like that too. And so tell her I said goodnight and I love her. Sweet dreams. And so it's really looking at, how you can get your body safe. What are things that you can use to get your body safe, and things like that too, and things. And so what I would like to do, if you will do it, is I want you to take a deep breath, big deep breath in your nose. And what I want you to do is place your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath, place your hand on your heart. And I want you to pause, not pause, but take a deep breath in your nose with your hand on your heart. And then as you're exhaling, yes, you're going to probably, breathe out your nose, but you're going to speak it with your mouth as well. Sometimes you can say it in your mind if you'd like, but what I want you to say to yourself, whether you whisper it to yourself silently or out loud, what I want you to say is, my body is not my enemy. So inhale slowly in your nose. And on the exhale, I want you to say, my body is not my enemy. It's been trying to protect me this whole time. So inhale in your nose. My body is not my enemy. On the exhale, it's been trying to protect me this whole time. And so as you do that, it helps you retrain yourself that you're not broken, that you're not broken, not broken. So you're not broken. You're wise, and so is your nervous system, because evidently that's exactly what's keeping us safe. This, that's the nervous system knows what to keep safe. And so it's, thank goodness that it knows. I mean, some of these things stink, absolutely. But can you imagine if we had to figure out what we were doing on our own? Sometimes a dysregulated nervous system is kind of like, holy macaroni. But just to know that the nervous system is that powerful, that it knows what to do, is amazing as well. So if this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with somebody else who might need a reminder. And so if you could make sure that you, I say this all the time and then I always forget, but don't forget to like, comment, and share, which, afterwards, after the video post, if you can go back and comment, like, and share it. And then hit the thumbs up and give it a share as well. I would really, really appreciate that very much. I appreciate all of you. And so, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, for your healing, for showing up, and for choosing gentleness. I always love, whoops, I got to get that one off there. Sorry. I love being here and spending my Mondays just kind of in the flow of things. It's something that I love. I just love the atmosphere that we share in here. It's a calm, cool, and collective. We can come in here and we can be goofy and things like that too. And and that's really what I love about this group. And again, it's about sharing. It's about being the voice for the voiceless. It's about bringing truth about mental health and trauma, that the correlation between them both, and things like that too. And so that's really what it's about, and things like that. One other thing that I do want to share with you before we hop off, Scott, it's always a pleasure, to have you and things like that too. So I really appreciate that. I try my best, and to pick topics and things like that we can resonate with each and every one of us, because there's times, again, that that I deal with things as well. And so what better way than to educate you and all of you, and to educate myself at the same time. And so I love it. But one of the things I wanted to ask is if, and I'm not asking you to buy a ticket, but if you could go to riseupfromtrauma.com, and the website is still getting, I'm still working on things, but our conference is not until August, or sorry, not August. Geez, I'm like, August, yep, October, not until October. If you could go there and just maybe, if you think about it, and yes, and Michael too, I appreciate Sly, Scott, and Michael. Week after week, you guys are here, and I appreciate all of your support and things like that. Really does mean a lot to me. And even the ones that do come, they just don't. They don't say anything in the chat. I appreciate everybody that pops in. But if you go to riseupfromtrauma.com, and if you think about it, maybe once, twice a day or whatever, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the Google, I'm trying to get it up there in the Google searches, because this year is going to be totally different than next year. We are going to have a lot of different speakers like we did last year, but this one is totally different. And so I really want to be able to get it up there and things like that too. We have so many things that we're offering with this one. And so it would mean a lot to me if you could just go and go and visit it and see if I can get it, pushed up on the Google and things like that. I would really appreciate it, very much, and stuff like that too. So, so again, I just want to say thank you again for being here, for healing, for showing up, and for choosing gentleness. Until next time, be well, be safe, and be kind to your nervous system. So, I'm hoping that you can go back and replay if you need to, learn some of the tools and resources that were shared. But again, pay attention and be mindful of what's happening with your nervous system when things start happening. So I hope each and every one of you have an amazing week. I hope the weather starts getting better for all of you to go out and enjoy the weather, whether it's fishing, whether it's nature, whether it's hiking, whether it's walking. And so all of you can get out and enjoy the beautiful creation of the universe. So until next time, everyone, again, be blessed, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday. Good night, everyone.